Welcome to Life and Fatherhood, the podcast where new dads like you find community, insight, and practical tips to navigate the incredible journey of fatherhood. I'm your host, Alonzo Williams Jr., and I'm here to bring you valuable conversations with fellow dads who share their wisdom and experience. Whether you're looking for advice, inspiration, or just a place to connect with other fathers, you are in the right place. Ready to dive in? Let's get started. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Life and Fatherhood. I'm your host, Alonzo Williams Jr. I know it's been a minute. Had to take some time, had to, just recalibrate some things, but hey, we're back and in full effect. And it feels really good to be back in this space and connected with you guys again. So, with that being said, I want to go on ahead and just jump right into it. Go right into it and talk about something that's very, very serious and important, especially in this day and age. Just want to go over how we're going to make the holidays special without breaking our bank. I know you all feel that one. I do. With inflation and everything going on right now in our country, it's very imperative that we don't get too caught up in, our wallets or how we're going to make it work, how we're going to make it happen. I'm going to give some tips on what we do as a family and, even encourage you guys to try some new things that you might have never even thought of doing to still make it special for you, your wife, your partner, and of course your kids. At the end of the day, it's about family. This holiday season has always been about family. Let's just get right into it. So, let's get right into it. In my household, the biggest thing that we've recognized, because right now we have two young kids. We have a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old. So the holiday seasons haven't been too stressful for us, but I know, of course, as they get older, as we get older, and as things just continue to change in our lives and, just the world around us, we know that those desires are going to change. So as of right now, thankfully, they're not at the point to where they want all the nicest, coolest, most extravagant gadgets in the world. Right now, they love Bluey. So as long as they get some Bluey and some Paw Patrol, and whatever form that comes in, they're happy, right? But I also know that, there are, many of you guys who are listening to this, you have older kids who want the newest and latest and the greatest, you know, tech or whatever it is that's out there, But here's some things that I think will help, you all, some things I know that's helped us and our family, but also help you guys in navigating this holiday season to, make it even more special and just create your own traditions and create, just an overall environment that isn't just necessarily centered on, stuff, but, stuff plus family. Because like I said, at the end of the day, it's all about family. So the biggest one that I want to point out to is building a tradition that really sticks. One thing that in our family that we do that is really, really helpful and that we all love doing, especially like, for us, the holidays typically starts in like Thanksgiving. So we started this new Thanksgiving tradition where, with just our family, we'll do something different, as far as, of course, we still do the traditional go to a family member's house, see extended family members, sit down and eat and everything like that. But we did this new thing recently, like a couple years ago when our oldest was like, I want to say 1 or 2, where, hey, we'll just go to Waffle House in the morning. Something small like that, and we didn't think, so the way this came about was we were in Florida visiting family, but we had to make a quick turnaround, so we weren't able to stay for too long. But on our way back home, we just, we were hungry. The boy, our son was hungry, so we just went and stopped at a Waffle House, and it ended up being a really, really great experience for like all of us. And it was like it was our first time going to Waffle House, but for whatever reason, us going on this particular day, on Thanksgiving Day, that made it like really, really, really cool. We got to really sit down. It was, strangely peaceful and quiet. Well, I guess not strangely because it was Thanksgiving, but even then, it was just a really, really cool vibe. And so we enjoyed that so much. We was like, you know what? Hey, let's just make this a tradition. And, funny enough, that's something that we look forward to. We actually look forward to going to Waffle House and sitting down, just getting a meal, chopping it up, talking, Um, it's something that's different, but that's something that's like that's ours. So it felt special and it felt way more exciting just to do something different than everybody else was doing. So it felt kind of exclusive in a way. Like it felt like it was like our own precious moment. So I really want to encourage, you all to do something like that. Something that could be like an example would be like I know one that's popular is like Christmas movie night, with some, popcorn, hot cocoa. You could do, I know people don't do it as much, but even something like Christmas caroling. If you love to sing, you come, and your household is more musical, you can do some caroling. One thing that we also love to do is reading holiday books with the boys. So you can even do something like that. Just to start the holiday season off, it doesn't have to always be centered around what you're gonna get the kids or what you're gonna, buy to make it special. It's about creating those memories. At the end of the day, our children remember how the holiday season felt. Don't always remember what it is that they bought. Like when they're older, well into their 20s and 30s, they're gonna remember those moments of, you all being together as a family. So of course, if you have a family that's really big into sports, say you guys love basketball or football, hey, start up a tradition, start up a football tradition, start up a basketball tradition where you might play a few games, the day of or the day before. If you guys love video games, you can do a video game marathon or, just play different games like, Smash Brothers. I know that's a very, very big game. I used to love Smash Brothers as a kid. That'd be really, really cool. That's a really cool tradition that you could do within your family unit. So don't necessarily have to do anything, brand new. You just create new experience of what you have. And, you'll be shocked how impactful that really is. Nothing that you could do that we're thinking about doing, and I believe is just very smart in a sense, is instead of just like getting our kids a whole bunch of just gifts that will set us back, not set us back, but wouldn't benefit us financially, we can leverage it out to where we get one big gift and then have a bunch of other smaller gifts that go around it. So say that you have your child wants the newest Xbox, right? They want the newest Xbox, but they want a whole bunch of other games, or they want these Xbox and they want some, really, really nice expensive shoes or whatever the case may be. You can leverage it to where it's like, okay, well, hey, we'll get you this Xbox, we'll get you this tablet. We'll get this big thing, but we'll, have other things around it that they'll still enjoy. So say that your child wants a video game, but you know that they love chocolate, something like that. And so you give them the Xbox, have some candy around it. Trust me, hey, video games and sugar, perfect, go hand in hand. Those are some things to think about. Like have a big gift and then have a bunch of small gifts around it. That way, it still be special and it's thoughtful. It doesn't always have to be something big and a high purchase. Because let's be real too. Kids will play with something for a good, you know, especially little kids. They play with something for a few minutes and then go off playing with their old toys, or play with the box, or find something else in the house that's not a toy and make it a toy. So you don't really, you don't have to, think too hard about it. One of the other things that I encourage you all to lean into is, hey, shop early. I'm sure many of you are already starting to do this. Just something to remind you, to double down on is to shop early. Take advantage of any deals. There's a lot of deals going on right now. As I'm recording this, we're in August. So you can imagine all of the different holiday special deals that are already going on. I know my dad got the boys some bluey, what was it? It was like a bluey Frankenstein and a bingo spider. Like Halloween thing, right? Now mind you, we're not even in September yet. Like it's in August, but they already getting everybody ready, getting it prepared. So take advantage, take advantage of this time, plan for it, sit down with your partner, sit down with your spouse, and figure out ways to, put money to the side, or, just get everything lined up to take care of those purchases. Shop smart. Think of it that way. You always have Black Friday, of course. Y'all have the Cyber Mondays. You know, take advantage of different online shops, credible online shops, nothing shady, but there's a lot of different ways to make it special and memorable for you and your family. Another step too is to lean on your village. That's something that me and my family, something that we really had to learn is to lean into uh, our family members. Because the thing is, you have a lot of family members. You may not realize it, but you do have a lot of family members and even friends that want to be a blessing to you. So they want to they want to get you and your kids something nice. It may not be, super expensive or flashy, but they want to pitch in. They want to, offer something. They want to, love on you and your family by, giving you guys gifts. So lean into that. One thing that we did, or one thing that we're blessed to have is like my parents. They're very big on getting the boys gifts. So while we also shop and get things for our boys when we're out and about, they're very big on like the really really big purchases. So they'll have a whole bunch of remote control trucks, those little what are they called, the RVs that you take outside and they ride around in. Like they're big on those type of purchases. So best believe we lean into that. When you have that as a resource to you know make it special for your kids, lean into it. So yeah, lean into your village. Don't be afraid to even, not necessarily ask for help, but you know, even if need be, just mention that you do want to make it special for your kids, and if they're willing to pitch in, that's cool. Don't don't turn it down. It's a giving season, so people are in the mood to give. So part of giving is receiving. So I highly encourage you all to do that. The next one I want to lean into is, of course, continue giving the gift of your presence. So the biggest gift, of course, we give to, and it's a cliche, but it's real. It really does matter. Like as long as you are with your kids, and as long as your kids are with you, like that goes a long way. I mean, they spend so much time. For a lot of people, their kids spend so much time in school or in sporting events, or different things that they have going on. Just spending time with dad, you know, is very memorable. Even if you guys go out to get ice cream, even if you take them to go, you know, hang out at the park, play games at the park, or take them to a trampoline park, something like that. That's memorable. That's something that sticks with them. That's something that they carry with them. Like I said, well into their later ages, like the 20s and 30s, like they're gonna remember that. They're gonna, tell their kids, man, I remember one Christmas, um, we did something different. Like we went and traveled across the state lines and went to go look at a cool national monument. Like, something like that. Like it does, like I said, you don't have to think too hard on it. It's just a matter of understanding that at the end of the day, like your presence is worth more than what you can give them. As far as like playing games and things like that. Um, and of course, with it being the giving season, I touched on that shortly, but teaching them the joys of giving. It's never too early. It's never too late to teach our little ones that giving is just as important, and even in a lot of ways, even more important than receiving. So, hey, don't be afraid to step out, try something different, like going to a soup kitchen, or going to, even give gifts to the homeless or provide for the homeless in a different way. Whether it's, send up little bags to like food, even clothing, um, toothpastes, toothbrushes, things like that, hygiene items, you know, putting that in them early, letting them know like, yeah, this is the holiday season. And of course you're going to get yours, and you're going to, have some really cool toys, really cool gear. But, it reminds them, it's just really reminds them that, hey, it's a bigger than just you. There's a big world out here, and a lot of people aren't as fortunate. A lot of people don't have the luxuries, and they don't have many of the blessings that we have. And so instilling that in them early is going to pay even more dividends down the line. really reframes it like, yeah, this is a season of giving. We always say it, but really reinforcing it that way. And like I said, it doesn't have to be too big. Like if you're not comfortable yet with going to a soup kitchen, hey, even if it's just a family member helping out a family member somewhere, like they might need help with something, or um, hey, if you have family that might be struggling with getting a gift for their kids, pitching in, like, hey, let's go help find your cousin a nice cool toy, like something amazing like that. They'll remember that, and it's going to be great for them. It's like, oh yeah, I remember, we pitched in and got our cousins and our friends these toys when we were young, and it just leaves a lasting impression. So I really want to encourage that for you all to look into. But um, the bottom line at the end of the day is, your kids, they really don't need the biggest, flashiest gift to feel love. All they, really need is, your presence, your laughter, your energy. And with that, you can get creative. You can create memories. You will create memories that are lasting well into their older ages, into the next generation. Um, Creating a whole new trajectory of not just consumerism, but of producing strong, healthy, you know, emotionally and mentally healthy human beings. And so, you know, that's today's episode. I really, really enjoyed, you know, coming back. It feels good to be back. Feels good back to be back in this driver's seat and sharing my thoughts, hearing what you guys have to say. Always love to hear from you guys. Want you guys to, comment. Want you guys to subscribe to the channel. Click on the link to our Fatherhood Hub at Navigating Postpartum Wellness website. If you want to take a look at our blogs, you can go ahead, click on that. And until next time, stay blessed, stay prayed up, and enjoy the holiday seasons. Take care.